Imagine living in a world where the girls rule the planet and the men are just treated like second-rate trash. Well, for this dude right here, it's his reality because he was unlucky enough to spawn in a universe where the gender roles are reversed. To make matters worse, the strongest and most powerful are all women with not a single guy in the rankings, so it's like watching JJK and your bro Gojo is not even in the top 20. Anyways, this is Kang, and he's a special one because instead of bottom fragging in Valorant like all the other guys, he mid-frags since all the girls are the carries now. But one day, his life took a turn when a level 999 monster appeared out of nowhere and it literally ate his parents in one gulp. Unable to do anything as he was stricken with fear, he was forced to watch on as he waited for the army of girls to stop the rampaging dragon, but unfortunately, they were too slow. So now bro is on a mission to infiltrate the army they call the Hunters, the ones designated to stop high-level monsters from destroying the world. However, the catch is that almost every hunter here are all girls, so his odds of getting accepted is the same as someone trying to find an Asian person in the middle of nowhere in the African boonies. And even if Sung somehow awakens and gets accepted to become an actual one like Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, his rank will be limited to that of a D-rank hunter with no hope of promotion. Regardless, as soon as he was able to, he enrolled in the most prestigious hunter school in the world named Daehan High School, but on his first day of school, bro quickly realized he was the only male student. For most dudes, this would be a dream come true, but since the gender roles are reversed here, his life became a living hell on day one as he was routinely targeted by every girl in the school, and not in a good way. Luckily for him though, one of his childhood friends, Hyun, attended the same high school, and she was literally the only one that was nice to him, so she tried her best to protect him whenever she can. She basically treated him like a younger brother, non-sussy Alabama style, and most girls were forced to run away from her, as she is one of the highest ranking awakened students in the entire school body. But whenever Hyun was not around to defend him, bro endured non-stop harassment in class, in the hallways, even in front of the teachers, since all of them were all girls looking like they want a piece of his banana tree plantation like a true sussy baka. Nevertheless, our boy shrugged off every type of attack heading his way like an absolute sigma male as he kept his eyes only on his one goal, and that is to awaken his powers before he graduates, or all of this would be for nothing. Fast forward 2 years after his high school graduation, it's sadly revealed that bro did not awaken any special abilities even after shedding blood and tears, so now he wastes his days away waking up in the afternoon just to play Roblox and Minecraft hardcore. But one day, right before Sung was about to eat breakfast at dinner time, he got a text alert from another number that is not his usual DoorDash delivery picture, causing him to get confused as no one ever messages him. Initially, he thought it was one of those Chinese AI scam messages that pretends to be a single lady that wants a boyfriend, but much to his surprise, he instead got a message congratulating him for being chosen as an awakener. After accepting the message, bro tries to see if he gained super strength or some kind of special ability, but after half an hour of trying to figure out if something changed within him, he realized he gained no powers. As such, bro began to think he just got trolled again, but upon picking up his phone, he gets barraged by unlimited info, telling him that he has evolved into a sussy desire manager for female hunters. And as he continues to scroll through to find out more about his new job, Pro cannot believe how he wasted years of his life away just for him to become a support toy for the female hunters that have already awakened. Nonetheless, Sung is able to figure out that in exchange for being a support main using his powerful Asian rocket ship, he will be able to get stronger and gain abilities himself every time he is able to complete a sussy Baka mission. Anyways, now that our boy is a beginner-level awakener, he was able to find his skill and attributes page, which showed how he has 3 new skills under sword technique, fire magic, and healing magic, but every single one was at level 0. So the only way for him to use his brand new skills is to gain 100 awakening points, but to do that he tapped on the search for nearby hunters tab, which displayed a bunch of girls meaning a rice cake smashing, which would give him a bunch of points. Now that our boy has a goal to live for again, Bro suits up and gets ready to touch grass for the first time in months as he now thinks he can become a top-ranked hunter using this new method, even though this is the sussiest thing he has ever heard of. Regardless, after getting blinded due to him not being used to seeing actual sunlight, Bro took the wrong turn out of his apartment and ended up getting closer to a huge heart on the map, which would give him a whopping 80 points if he is able to successfully complete the mission. But as he stands there trying to figure out who or where it could be, the heart kept getting closer to him like some kind of Call of Duty killstreak. But then suddenly, our boy started to hear boss music. Eventually, out of the corner of Sung's eyes, he noticed Hyun walking towards him, where she then happily ganks him by teleporting forward, eagerly asking him what he is doing outside in the real world today, since that is very unlike him. After discovering that the high-level hunter worth 80 points is actually his own childhood friend, Bro began to sweat more than me when I am on the toilet trying to send a monster one out, since he got greedy and accepted the mission before he even knew who it was. Luckily for our boy though, Hyun quickly orders him to head back inside his apartment as she is super worried Bro got a loose screw since she knows Bro never heads out. As such, she heads back inside with him to make sure he is okay. As soon as both of them got back inside, Hyun rushed to the bathroom to change into more comfortable clothes, but let's just say that if our editor zoomed out just a tad bit more, then those comfortable clothes would totally be blurred. Nevertheless, the two end up enjoying a meal that our boy ended up burning, but somehow Hyun looked like she liked all of it. So after finishing it all, she offers to go do the dishes while trying her best to show off all of her hunter assets. With Hyun now busy doing the dishes in a very sussy position that our boy can see from the dining table, Bro starts looking like he is letting his intrusive thoughts win as he has to weigh the pros and cons of using his rocket ship against her planet Venus. Of course, Sung tells himself that he needs to do this in preparation for him to become a real man powerful enough to stand on his own, since his only childhood friend is worth over 80 points, and that is enough to give him a huge lead. However, as he imagines absolutely destroying Hyun over and over again, Bro keeps staring at her crazy fresh bakeries in real time, but it dawns on him how could he even destroy her if she is currently way more powerful than him. Suddenly, with Sung continuing to mull over whether or not he should activate clapping monarch mode, he gets a flashback to high school, where he spills the beans to Hyun about how much he hates large watermelons on the opposite gender. Usually, most people love them, but our boy is a weirdo since he hates how he constantly runs into them at school, so upon him revealing the secret about him being more of a bakery fan, Hyun smirks and attempts to show off her gifted bread factory. Unfortunately for her though, Sung did not get the hint that she was interested in being more than friends with him, after she tried to flashbang him with her double-deckers, since Bro thought it was just by accident, so she just assumed she was friend-zoned. Now back in the present, after remembering all the small details between him and Hyun over the years, he took it as a sign that she might be into him, so it looks like Bro is about to be on the move as his dragon fruit is going to be awakened. Meanwhile, as Sung tries to garner enough courage to actually begin his quest in rice cake destroying Hyun, she ends up asking our boy if she could stay the night, since it has been a while since they last hung out together. However, midway through Hyun trying to be sneaky with how she was wording things since she knows Bro is clueless, she ends up getting surprise ganked by Sung with the force of the entire Sussy Fire Nation fleet as he grabs hold of the fruits in front of him. She then loudly gasps as she thought a monster might have appeared in the room, but it turns out to just be our boy Sung, so she begins profusely blushing since she cannot believe what is happening to her right now. Bro then pulls out the Alpha Skibbity Rizzler playbook by denying how he hates ripe watermelons, claiming that he secretly loves them as big as they can be, even bigger than those Remax hot air balloons, so he basically struck gold with Hyun. He also makes up the lie that he was too embarrassed to tell her this entire time about how he felt about her, but now that 80 points is on the line, Bro channels his inner Rizzler and begins pumping out compliments about her left and right. 2 minutes later, Bro decides to initiate Protocol Supreme Sussy backup by proceeding to unleash Hyun's Labrador puppies onto the unsuspecting world, where they then instantly plop out into the open, allowing our editor to totally marvel at them for the next few minutes. Anyways, with Hyun's Cracker Barrel double-deckers now on full display, our boy goes full hand-eye coordination mode as he attempts to figure out what to do with the Invisible Clothes DLC unlocks, since he has never gone this far before. Now the crazy part here is that Hyun almost passes out from Sung just playing around with a pillow like clouds before him. So you already know things are about to get even crazier since Hyun's water fountain is already leaking massively. With the leak getting bigger by the second, a pool starts to form on the floor, causing Hyun to turn around to ask Bro to stop, since she knows if they continue any further on his quest, then there would be no way back as normal friends. Although it's clear as day she has been hoping for all of this to happen for most of her life, she still feels a bit guilty though, as this is going to be her first time ever in a sussy 1v1 duel. Nonetheless, our boy reassures Hyun that no matter what happens today, even if she goes freak mode 9000 on him during their duel, he will always be there for her, as he knows hunters need a way to release all that pent-up power due to their work. He also tells her that they will always be friends forever, and since real friends help each other out during their times of need, this is perfectly acceptable for them to continue on, as this is a two-way street. For Hyun, she will be able to unleash a part of her that should have been uncaged many years ago that will help her rise through the ranks, while for Sung, he will be able to get stronger and become a true awakened. Regardless, after finally accepting their sussy fate, Hyun agrees to not hold back her powers anymore, but as soon as she said that, our boy's dragon down below ripped a hole in his plate legs, so they quickly ran to the nearest bedroom. After repositioning like a top 100 player, our boy's eyes disappeared as he is able to make Hyun cross the finish line twice before they even got to the real cultured anime action type of beat. So after Hyun collapsed onto the closest bed frame after hitting the finish line, clothes began to fly off across the room as Bro readies himself to make sure he is able to capture all 80 points, and maybe even more as long as things goes according to his plan. However, it already seems like he has hit the ball out of the park when heart eyes began to appear on Hyun's face, even before he got to use his grilled cheesy sausage against her buttered piece of bread, all thanks to some water-breathing kiss technique. Shortly after connecting some powerful face-to-face abilities, Hyun tells him to hurry up and bring out his dragon longsword so they could finally get the real show on the road, totally worried that they might not have enough time. Bro then looks at the clock and sees that it is still early on in the evening, so he orders her to just sit back, relax, and enjoy since they basically have unlimited time together unless the world is abruptly going to end soon. Nevertheless, when it was finally time to show off our boy's Taco Bell beef burrito supreme, Hyun goes wild as she did not expect his burrito to be as large as it was, causing her to mumble about how much she loves burritos, especially the gigantic ones. As such, Hyun goes on the offensive and proceeds to take over our boy's guiding missile with absolute ease, basically making it so that it accidentally leaks some milky fuel on her due to Hyun's intense suction cup force she placed on it. After almost crossing the finish line himself, he had to stop Hyun from making him do some explosion jutsu by accident, so instead, he decided to return the favor by plopping her down back on the bed just so he could eat some vanilla-flavored cake. A few minutes later, he finished his plate of cake, but he almost drowned due to how much frosting there was, so Hyun pushed him away since she was really wanting Bro to start his invasion of her tropical island as soon as possible. Since this is also his first time summoning an offensive battering ram, Bro is not sure of what to do, but he says screw it and proceeds to drive it towards the epicenter of Hyun's defensive gates, busy wondering if it even can fit in her city. But as soon as he finally found the entrance to Hyun's inner city walls, Bro activated his ultimate called Unstoppable Force, allowing him to literally slip through his Lego, which instantly caused a reaction from his opponent. Now that the two have finally begun rice cake destroying, the sussy tables turns when Hyun abruptly tells our boy that she has changed her mind as she does not want to continue with their quest, apparently due to his Korean corn dog being too powerful. However, our boy knows she is making up an excuse since he was easily able to slip his Legos through the cracks, so he ends up calling her out for it, causing her to admit that she feels a bit shy as she never expected to go this far in their expedition. Hyun then attempts to pull out the Uno reverse Rizzler card on our boy, asking him to wait for a second as she needs time to calculate whether or not this is worth it for her to continue on as a high-level adventurer. Unfortunately for her though, Bro is immune to any kind of magical effects when he is under the status called Chad mode, and upon activating it, his eyes disappear while all of his muscles begin to get bigger as if he is some kind of Mr. Olympia. After evolving into his final form, Hyun becomes speechless as she could not fathom her childhood friend becoming a true man right before her eyes, but little does she know Bro is doing all of this just so he could gain awakening points. Anyways, after grabbing hold of Hyun's hands, our boy stares into her soul and asks her to give him her precious Virgo card, to which she happily accepts with no hesitation, and upon hearing that Sung turns on beast mode to go on the attack. One blink later, Bro unleashed a torrent of manly power that would devastate any opponent even the most experienced and skilled ones would find difficult to handle, since it turns out he has been hiding a Prince Behemoth all this time without anyone knowing. And just like that, Hyun's life turned upside down as she repeatedly gets defeated at the hands of her childhood friend. And let's just say the neighbors will probably file a noise complaint after these two are done with their duel. In the end, after making Hyun pass out from the sheer force of his rocket constantly going off like Team Rocket blasting off again, a pop-up notification appeared on top of her head, which showed a heart and the number 80 within it. However, instead of gaining just 80 points, it is revealed that he gained a bonus 15, which equals 95, just because he was able to reach the bonus condition with his opponent, which meant he totally conquered the battle. Fast forward to the next morning, Bro breaks his streak of waking up either in the late afternoon or evening as he accidentally wakes up at 8 a.m. in the morning, totally wiped out and exhausted after shooting his explosion jutsu a couple times. He then notices that he has 22 unread messages from someone, so after further investigation, Bro found out that it was Hyun busy telling him how much she loves him and that she will be coming back soon for some more rice cake smashing. But after getting excited to gain more easy points from his friend, he gets another pop-up notification informing him that going after Hyun over and over again would result in earning fewer points and even point reductions. Regardless, Bro decides to allocate every free point he received to his swordsmanship skills, so it leveled it up to 3, which now makes him a real hunter hungry for more power, so he tells himself he does not mind having to look for more opponents to battle. But before our boy could get any stronger, Sung has an important decision to make as he needs to join one of 3 hunter guild associations to further his reputation and to get real non-sussy missions. Out of the 3 though, one is hidden within veils called the Aerial Foundation, so it's off limits for him right now, but the other 2, the Silver and Gold Company, and the Hunters Autonomous Association both look like prime candidates to join. As such, our boy heads over to the nearest Hunters Guild planning to join the Hunters Autonomous Association since they have the most favorable conditions and they have the most pretty sussy tends to boot. However, bro remembered that Hyum is part of the more noble and strict Silver and Gold Company, so if she ever finds out that our boy joined the opposing guild, then it would totally be Joe over for him. And to make matters worse, both Hyun and her mom literally live nearby, so the possibility of them finding out eventually would be at 100%, meaning that Hyun can literally arrest him for joining the Autonomous Association. Plus, our boy has to contend with the fact that a man awakening is literally unheard of nowadays. So Sung needs to make sure he stays low-key, as the only way for him right now to gain massive amounts of awakening points is to duel his best friend. Nevertheless, our boy is dead set on joining the Autonomous Association since not only does he want to get paid way more compared to the other one, but he also wants to live his sussy beka life to the fullest, as all the freaky ones can be found here. Now fully determined to make his way up the ranks, bro swiftly enters a hunter's guild with a bunch of association members, but as soon as he entered, all eyes began to shift onto him, as being a male hunter is a rare sight in this world. After making it to the registration desk, an aloof male clerk sees our boy's shadow and instantly assumes bro is a girl without looking up, so the clerk asks him how he could be of help today. But after hearing Sung's voice when he asks if he could register for a guild here, Mr. Four Eyes quickly looked up to make sure he was not hearing things, only for him to be surprised that a man is signing up. Luckily for our boy though, after the guild clerk finished closely analyzing him for a few seconds, he gives Sung a nod before profusely apologizing for his behavior, where he then initiated the hunter registration process. Nonetheless, our boy decides to make up a fake name to try and hide his identity better, as he does not want people finding out about his true identity. As such, he chooses an alias and calls himself Kim Songchul. Shortly after giving out his fake gamer name, the clerk went to work, and upon finishing up, our boy was handed his official hunter's license with his fake name in print, so bro basically missed out on calling himself Sung Jinwoo instead. Regardless, after being handed his license and discovering that he needs to stand in line to inquire about dungeon access, bro decides to skip it, as he wants to efficiently spend his time rather than waste it, so goes to get better look at the association's members. As he went around like an absolute Chad looking for his next prey, everyone he passed by gave him such intense looks, as they all look like they have a lot pent-up anger within them, but our boy is somewhat disappointed due to their low amount of points. After passing by at least a dozen other girl hunters with less than 20 points each, bro took a moment to really thank Hyun for letting him clap, as he would have never gotten this far without her very sussy help. Suddenly, after bro had his eyes closed as he was busy praying to the gods for a worthy opponent, he hears a majestic voice, and upon turning around to see who it was, bro found himself a mid-level witch with pink hair worth a crazy 50 points. Our boy then watched on with a lot of intrigue as the pink-haired witch ordered a teleportation portal to a place called Deadwood Graveyard. But upon the portal opening, our boy's caged behemoth began to awaken, as he felt some kind of connection. But before the witch stepped through the portal, she actually took a moment to stop and look behind her before giving our boy a very sussy look, whilst already blushing without our bro even doing anything yet. So it looks like as if the next meal is already on the table. She then stepped through the portal to Deadwood Graveyard, but we all know Sung's wood is not dead right now, so bro decides to try and follow her, only for our boy to change his mind while on the teleportation platform. Instead of following his target to Deadwood Graveyard, bro changes plans midway and asks the steward to teleport him to his first ever dungeon without even inquiring about them first, so let's hope his IQ level is above room temperature. Regardless, after landing in the D-class dungeon named Dark Forest, Sung whips out his actual trusty greatsword and proceeds to try and look cool just in case some girls are around by pulling out a solo leveling pose. However, within just a few seconds, bro began to hear a bunch of footsteps running towards him, causing the sky to simultaneously turn red, so it looks like we are about to get some real action. Eventually, the footsteps reveal themselves as 3 female goblins locking onto him like he's some kind of unlimited free Jollibee buffet, so our boy gets into defensive stance mode, whilst dearly hoping that he can actually handle all 3 of them at once. Somehow though, bro does not run away, but instead he holds his ground as he watches all 3 goblins activate berserk mode after gap closing the distance between him and them by 10 meters. With nowhere else to go, and after making the decision to risk it all, Bro tells himself that there would be no way he is going to allow himself to get defeated now in a beginner-level dungeon, as that would prove to be too embarrassing. As such, Sung puts all his trust into his level 3 swordsmanship skill and attempts to do a combo he learned in high school, but after just one swing, all 3 goblins dropped like flies even though he was just aiming at one. But just when Sung thought he was in the clear that easy, another female goblin appeared out of nowhere and quickly jumped in front of him, but this one was 10 times the size of the earlier ones, looking very angry and also hungry, causing our boy to stutter in his brain. And unlike the other goblins, this one did not waste time, as it instantly went to make sure Sung's life force went to 0 by whipping out a 15-foot stone club, where it proceeded to directly aim for our boy while a bunch of other goblins began appearing behind it. One blink later, the Queen of Goblins launched its devastating attack using aimbot, but somehow our boy was able to deflect her strike right before it turned him into mush, leading to some substantial damage to Sung's hands. Meanwhile, back at the headquarters for the Silver and Gold Company, we find Hyun Bing chilling in a sauna, busy wondering what the heck our boy is doing since he has not picked up her calls for the past hour. It's then revealed that Hyun hurried to finish her mission early today just so she could try and spend time with him after getting her rice cake destroyed last night. So she starts overthinking whether or not her messages and calls was too clingy. But while busy pondering about if she should just leave our boy alone for a bit, Hyun gets ganked by 2 of her underlings at the company as they want to bring their Sunba along for drinks, but Hyun makes up the excuse that she's too tired today to join them. Nevertheless, once the coast was clear of anyone else in the sauna, our girl decides to stop calling Sung and instead chooses to activate her brain to cultivate her true sussy beka powers as she began imagining Sung's banana split sundae. Elsewhere, we find the same mid-tier witch from the association ominously looking off into the distance of what seems like the same area our boy was teleported to, busy watching from afar while telling herself that this time will be the last. Fast forward a couple hours later, inside the dark forest, it's revealed that our boy has defeated an entire army of goblins, including the queen of them all. So now Bro is sitting victoriously on top of them as he tries to regain his breath. After clearing out the entire dungeon full of enemies, Bro picks up all of his magic crystal loot from every single mob, where he then takes a teleport back out to the guilds, so he is able to hand everything in for a handsome reward. Upon plopping down the bag of crystals in front of another guild clerk, the clerk gasps and thanks him for our boy's hard work, busy thinking to himself that Sung collected everything with the party, only to be astonished when he found out Bro did it all by himself. With the revelation that Bro was a one-man army, the clerk smirks and apologizes for his rudeness, explaining to Sung that he heard rumors of a male hunter applying to join the association, so he was worried, but now he knows his worry was for nothing. Nonetheless, thanks to our boy soloing the entire dungeon by himself, Bro gets rewarded with 450,000 won excluding all the fees, which is basically equal to around $350. With our boy's first hunt now completed, Bro starts to think that he can get rich from this, which means that he can buy any skin from any game he wants, plus he can use the leftovers to return the favor to Hyun's mom for looking after him all this time. Anyways, with Bro still on the grind to gain more power, our boy turns his eyes on the mysterious unknown pink witch, since she is the only one Sung has seen within the association with more than 40 points, and Bro needs that power as soon as possible. As such, our boy asked around to see if anyone saw where the witch went next, and after finding out that she ventured to the old tree's tombs, Bro smartly used the app on his phone to try and pinpoint where exactly she went, as the map is bigger than Grand Theft Auto 6. But after spending 15 minutes trying to scout out the location where the app was telling him she was at, Bro gets confused as he could not find her or anything else within vicinity other than a mysterious fog rolling in. Suddenly, as Bro was about to rip a silent yet deadly fart out since no one is in your earshot, he gets ganked by an unfamiliar noise which sounded more like a high-level monster type of shout, which clearly sent chills down Sung's spine. Regardless, with Bro still hell-bent on making sure he becomes one of the most powerful hunters to ever step foot on this fantasy world, our boy decides to follow the sounds in hopes that he might encounter her in the middle of battle. Sure enough, Sung's instincts prove to be correct as he ends up finding the witch facing off against a rare spawn B-grade boss monster named Woodrello. So upon realizing that the weird sounds were coming from Woodrello, Bro stopped right in his tracks as he knows he would have no chance against a B-grade anything, let alone a boss. So Bro sighs, knowing his luck might have ran out already. However, within seconds of making it to the battle area, Bro watched in awe as the girl was not nervous at all, so she quickly went on an offensive by leading with powerful wind magic coursing through her ancient yet expensive staff. With her first attack now fully channeled at maximum power, she unleashes it all and yells out Tornado, which instantly sends a chaotic bright light to illuminate the entire forest at once, causing both Woodrello and our boy to get shocked. Unfortunately for her though, the blinding light dispersed into absolute nothing, allowing for Woodrello to start laughing at the entire ordeal as it got scared for no reason at all, since the witch turned out to be harmless with her attack utterly failing. So with her ultimate tornado move delivering a solid 0-hit marker, the tree boss monster swiftly counterattacks by sending a bunch of fast-moving vines on the ground, which successfully took hold of the girl's legs in a very sussy way. Now unable to move due to all the vines constricting her movement, our boy was forced to jump into the fray and had to show up last second to rescue the pink-haired girl, or else she would have been obliterated right here, right now. Nevertheless, the witch gave our boy a lot of attitude for intruding on her mission, even though she was about to get clapped like no tomorrow, and the crazy part is that she began to berate him in the middle of our boy trying to escape, as she thinks bro is a sussy backa. After hearing the girl not be thankful at all, our boy began to cosplay the look of Hinata's family, almost looking like he wants to unleash the gentle fist on her, especially when she ordered him not to touch her. Nonetheless, as bro tries to channel his inner Gandhi to contain all the anger within him, he accidentally gets too distracted by the crazy girl, so he ends up tripping on a piece of rock, causing both of them to crash to the ground. At the same time, Woodrello was hot on their tails, so upon both of them crashing, it gave the boss monster the prime opportunity to unleash a final attack, but with nowhere else to run, the witch locked in and began asking for the wind to lend her its powers. And just when both of them were about to get eaten by Woodrello, our boy prepares for the worst, but then the girl was able to launch a real attack she named Screw Tornado, and much to our boy's surprise, it really dealt a massive blow. After successfully landing a critical hit, both our boy and the girl fall to their knees, as neither one could not believe how she just one-tapped a B-grade boss after failing to even summon a normal tornado attack in the first place. Anyways, after gathering enough composure to dust off their near-death experience, the girl gets up from the ground whilst blushing a little bit, busy ordering Sung to not say anything weird about this mission, since she was totally fine on her own. Upon seeing her go back to her totally demeaning attitude, Bro tries his best to hold his true feelings, and so he lets her berate him again, as he really wants to slide into her magical bakeries very soon, since 50 points is 50 points. But before taking her leave to exit the gloomy forest, the girl gives Sung his props and thanks him whilst mentioning how refreshing it is for her to see a guy actually being useful in this world, rather than them being the usual hindrance she finds them to be. Regardless, as Bro contemplates whether or not he should act like he needs some kind of help from her now to stop her from leaving his side, as he needs to pull an alpha skibbity Rizzler, Sung ends up getting an emergency quest arriving in his mailbox. Initially, our boy is annoyed that he keeps getting distracted, but upon opening the quest, it is revealed that the witch is actually a Class A hunter named Yuri, and the reason why she is not living up to her potential is because of her sussy 1 versus 1 limit. Furthermore, Sung notices that the quest reward will give him an insane 100 points if he is able to unlock her true power by fully relieving her sussy wants and needs within the next 24 hours. As such, our boy sprung into action faster than Usain Bolt by catching up to her before she was able to teleport back to headquarters, where he then got close and stopped her by claiming that he has an urgent question to ask her. However, in Yuri's mind, she thought Bro was going to ask her if she wanted to go on an adventure together with him sometime, but much to her surprise, our boy drops the bomb and straight up asks Yuri if she cannot use magic anymore. After dropping the bomb, like we got transported back in time to World War II again. Sung tries to innocently stand, hoping that he did not hurt her feelings, but she began to deny everything while yelling at him, explaining that she is a Class A hunter. Nevertheless, our boy continues to believe that Yuri cannot conjure up any more magic, so she tries to prove him wrong by attempting to summon some low-level wind magic, only for her to continually fail, as not a single attack was successful. Yuri then tries to summon Wind Cutter 10 more times in front of our boy to no avail, so she eventually gave up and dropped to the ground looking helpless, as she cannot fathom what the heck happened to her once powerful skills. Now that Yuri feels absolutely useless and defeated for her magic randomly disappearing out of nowhere, Sung finally swooped in to save the day by claiming that he thinks he can help her as long as Yuri hears out Sung's plan of action. Desperate to get her powers and abilities back, she intently hears our boy out, but after answering a few questions related to her growth in magic, she gets stun-locked when Bro asks her when was the last time she experienced rice cake smashing. However, with Yuri unable to say the magic 3-letter word out loud, Bro seriously had to do some hand jutsu to try and explain what it meant, but it turns out she was too shy to even talk about the topic. Eventually, Yuri relented and began telling the truth, since she was initially too scared that our boy was busy setting her up just so he could tease her. So Yuri reveals to Sung that she has not experienced actual rice cake destroying in her entire life. Regardless, after hearing the magic word of Yuri being a Virgo, our boy's eyes instantly disappeared, where he then leaned in to whisper to Yuri that her mana flow is being blocked right now due to her pent-up sussy feelings. After hearing Bro blurt out the reason why her magic suddenly went poof like your dad going out for milk, Yuri facepalms and refuses to believe his conclusion, so she starts to think Bro is one of those ultimate sussy bekas. Luckily, our boy activated Mega Brain mode and proceeded to explain to her that the only reason she was able to unleash her magic again earlier was because of her sussy hand movements while he was trying to save them from getting destroyed. Half an hour later of intense brain power usage, Yuri comes to the realization that Bro is actually right, but then it dawned on her that means she is now a lost cause as she thinks there is no way anyone would ever help her out with this. She then began to tear up thinking that her hunter life is now over because no lowly man on earth would be able to cure her. So she started to plead out loud who is going to be her knight in shining armor as she does not think those are real. With the susty turntables turning again, Bro jumps in and tries his best to rizzle her face before proclaiming that him, Sussy-sung Jinwoo, wants to help her and would love to be the one to bring her back on track. Our boy then reaches his hands out in perfect time to Yuri, so of course she quickly took it, where she then made this entire scene look like a real romance anime by staring into Bro's eyes and asking if he truly meant his words. But before Sung was able to reply, Yuri began profusely blushing whilst continuing to clarify if he meant with her, as she keeps thinking there must be a camera set up as there is no way this is real.